We have all been there. We want to become ECSA registered. We read all the documents and it says that you need to complete 3 years worth of work experience until you can become professionally registered. But is this a truth or a myth? Watch this video to find out. Hey there, Mike Young here, and in this video we are going to discuss if 3 years worth of work experience is enough to get you ECSA registered. I'm even going to be as bold as to say that in some cases 5 years is not enough to become ECSA registered, and by the end of this video you are going to understand why experience is the determining factor and not time. Now, some of you might be saying that this statement is absolutely wrong. I mean, if we went onto ECSA's website right now, and if we scroll down to this section and downloaded the competency standards, which is document R02, this form will be downloaded. Now let's quickly go through this document and we will eventually reach table 2, which is the summary of benchmark qualifications. If we now look through this table carefully, this section here clearly states that 3 years is the minimum amount of time that is required for your training and experience. So yes, I agree with you 100% that 3 years is the minimum amount of time that you need before you can submit your application. But have you ever stopped to ask this question? What type of training and experience do you need to gain within the 3 years before you will be ready to submit off your application? Now this is the point that is often overlooked. If we go back to document R02 and scroll down to section 5.1, it also says that your training and experience must demonstrate competence within applicable engineering activities. You must demonstrate competence by the integrated performance of outcomes, and you must demonstrate competence at the level defined for each outcome. Now, these two additional sentences are also important, as competence is defined for the purpose of this document in 2 different categories. Category 1 is a knowledge component, and category 2 is a training and experience component, which is deeply integrated with degree of responsibility. So what does all this really mean? I know how you might be feeling right now as you have lots of pieces of the puzzle, but the picture is actually just not coming together. So let's break it down for you with this example. Every year there is a huge hype around this great race in South Africa.
So much energy and strength in these final stages.
Well, he's entered the stadium after 90 kilometers of running. You finish for Comrades Marathon, the Moses Mabhida Stadium, and he smiles, he waves, and he's done this twice before, third time, probably the best, the one he'll remember, back-to-back victories for Gongmusa Mtembu, his second down run victory, and it is a personal best for him, 5 hours, 26 minutes, and about 35 seconds. And we'll get that official time for you.
And he kneels down. He did it again. This is the moment I was waiting for. Very spiritual young man. This is what he does. Thanking the Almighty for seeing him, for carrying him through. Because
So which race is this? It can only be the legendary Comrades Marathon. Now, can you imagine running between Durban and Pietermaritzburg in 12 hours? Funny enough, Google Maps is wrong in this calculation, as the actual route is much longer and is between 87 to 89 kilometers depending on the direction of the race. But if I asked you to join me in this incredible race, a lot of planning would be required, right? We would first have to start running and we would need to get fit. So the first step would be to build up our aerobic fitness and work our way up the distances. We would first start off with a 5K park run, and when that gets easy, we would then move on to 10K. We would then keep on building until we are able to run 42 kilometers and beyond on a normal training run. But remember, to be able to run, we need fuel. We need energy. So we will need to eat lots of carbs like spaghetti. And we will need to take in a lot of protein to help build our muscles after each of those grueling runs. Next, we will need to ensure that the body's conditioned for running. So we will go to the gym and work on improving our leg strength. We will do exercises like squats and lunges. Lastly, we will need to rest, as this is when our muscles recover and we only grow stronger. So as you can see, it's a complicated process to train for Comrades. And if I asked you how long it would take for you to run Comrades, what answer would you give me? For some people, it might take years for them to train their bodies and to get conditioned, while others it may take a few months. each of us are completely different. Now imagine if all you did was run a 5-kilometer park run for a period of 3 years. Do you think you would be able to complete the Comrades Marathon in a time frame of 12 hours? Maybe you would, but it would be a serious struggle. Or maybe you wouldn't complete the race with this amount of training. In both scenarios, did you reach the start line? Absolutely yes. Now the same can be said when it comes down to ECSA registration. Can you submit the application in 3 years? The answer is, of course, yes. Will you be successful? Well, that depends on your training. It depends on how well you've conditioned your engineering skills and how well you're prepared to tackle the challenge of proving that you are ready to complete and conduct work at a professional level. So just like training for the Comrades, time is just an indicator. How well you perform all comes down to the amount of training and the experience that you gain in preparation for the big day. Now the same principle applies when it comes down to ECSA registration, except when it comes down to ECSA, you need to condition your engineering skills, while with Comrades, you're conditioning your body to accomplish the goal. So when it comes to ECSA, you need to prove that you have conditioned yourself to meet the requirements of what it is to perform at a professional level. And Council feels that the shortest period of time that is required to you to condition your engineering skills is 3 years. So just because you perform your day-to-day function over a period of time, it does not necessarily mean that you're ready to become ECSA registered. So when it comes down to your training for the ECSA race, the first thing you need to do is to be confident with your own abilities. I often tell my coaching students that when you submit your application, you got to be personally ready. You got to feel personally ready. You need to be confident in answering any questions on the design that you have performed. You need to be in a position where you are a person who is making the decisions on a project that can either result in project success or project failure. You need to be in a position where you are held responsible for that decision and that you are willing to accept any financial and legal consequences for making that decision. Now, if you're feeling confident and you're ready to become ECSA registered, go ahead and hit the like button below. As you can imagine, all of these things require the correct type of training that ultimately shows ECSA that you can meet all of their requirements. So just backtracking a bit, what is the ultimate goal? Well, the goal is to, number one, be able to demonstrate that you have gained all the correct and necessary experience. Number two, be able to demonstrate that you meet all of the ECSA's 11 outcomes through the work experience that you have gained. Number three, prove that you are a specialist inside your field. And the last thing you need is to prove that you are solving a complex engineering problem. Now, I will be creating separate videos on all of these 4 topics, but to be able to receive this content, you're going to want to hit the subscribe button so you can receive notifications of when this video will be released. Also, feel free to binge watch our entire playlist where we will be giving you more useful information that can help you become ECSA registered. So next time you speak to a runner and they tell you that they are doing Comrades, just remember that accomplishing the goal is a process. And the same applies to ECSA registration, where success is gauged upon the conditioning of your engineering skills and not working for a minimum period of 3 years. This is Mike Young, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.